okay, it's a good time for you. Okay, but no matter you are looking for a teacher or you've been learning with a teacher, and the following tips will help you to make it out. So if you are ready, we are just go. First comes the reason that why I need to choose the right teacher. Yeah, so maybe you didn't mention, so I heard nobody said I met a wrong teacher or something, but the warm-up question reminded me of my learning experience when I started to learn Japanese years ago. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So at that time, the problem for me was not, I could not find a teacher, but that there were too many options for me. There were a lot of Japanese schools in Shanghai. So which one could I go to? There were so many self-learning apps and tips online. Which one could I follow? But yes, I marked a lot in my folders, but I don't really know which one I can follow. And there were thousands of teachers on different learning websites. All of them seemed like professional and experienced. Did they all can help me? So I have a lot of questions. But after trying some lessons with different teachers from different apps, websites, or local schools, I found that there were so many good teachers teaching Japanese from all over the world. They were professional, experienced, and also knowledgeable. But as a learner, I did not have much time and was not confident to talk with native speakers. I found some teachers who helped many other teachers could not really help me to improve or gain confidence. Yeah. So I'll show this picture to you like that. There are so many teachers and there are many good teachers. But I found that a good teacher may not equal to a right teacher to especially you. So good is for common situation, but right is more for you or me, right? It's more personal. So if you want to improve effectively, just like me, so you need to find the right teacher rather than stopping with just a good teacher. Then comes another question. What is a right teacher? What do you think? If you have any words or any description, you can type it in the chat box. So to you, what is a right teacher? Anybody have any? So also for the teachers. So we also can be learners and teachers. For you, what is good? What is right, sorry. Okay, so 高老师说 patience. Keeps you motivated. Wow, they said keeps you motivated. Okay, did you have such teacher? D. Okay, so I'll just go on. Okay, I agree with also 高老师 and D, but the key point I want to tell you first. So patient can be okay and also keep you motivated are very important. But for a right teacher, so your needs and feelings matter more than their certificates or experience. Okay. I also saw some answers from YouTube. So they said learning and teaching, like not just the teacher talks and the talks, but also listen to the student. Cool. So that a good chemistry with the teacher. Yes. So this, so someone said like not just the teacher talks and talks, but also listen to the student. Yeah, just like what I show on my screen. So the students, your needs and the feelings are very important in the class. So I'll give you some specific examples, like in our Chinese lesson class. Many students would say like, oh, sorry, I don't want to learn Chinese characters. So if it were years ago, I would immediately try to convince you that learning Chinese characters is very important for your long-term learning and it's good for you to know more about Chinese culture, blah, 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 like that. But later I realized that I don't even ask why my students did not want to learn it. So like now, we are always like tell our teachers, if your students tell you that they want or do not want to do something, ask why they think that and ask if they need your help. The point is that we teachers can help students reach their learning goals, but not to force them to take the way we are proud of, or like, but it's not suitable for them, right? So just as I said, not just the teacher talks a lot, but also listen to the students. This is one. And also sometimes you may feel like, oh, I feel exhausted. I feel like something terrible happened today. I'm not in the mood of learning or something like that. Some teachers hear students complain about that. They would worry about not being able to complete the teaching tasks on schedule. But in my view, if teachers fail to consider students as the main body of learning, no matter how hard they work, they cannot achieve their learning goals. So we often advise our teachers to listen to what happened to their students if they say they are not in the mood for learning. And we also make our teachers know that learning is a long-term process. So there is no rush and no push. But if like, I'm not in the mood for learning, so maybe a teacher can just enjoy every good things with me. No. So sometimes you think, okay, the right teacher can be someone who can laugh with me. But also some students would say, I feel frustrated after studying for months or even years, despite liking our teachers, but I feel disappointed in myself. So I must say that a teacher who can make you laugh is definitely a likable teacher. However, a right teacher is more than that. So we will tell our teachers to listen carefully to students' needs, pay attention to the problems they meet during the process, and provide timely and targeted feedback to help students set and achieve the goals they are most suitable for. So learning is not full of laughters, but also pains. Motivation is not just from happiness, right? Sometimes like you feel you can face your pain points, but a right teacher can help you find your weakness and help you overcome it. That's a key point. So that's your motivation, I think. And that's all for the reasons why we need to find a right teacher, but not just a good teacher. Then you may think like, how can I choose a right teacher? How can I know this teacher is right for me? Okay, so step one, figure out what you really need. Sometimes you think, I know what I need. I want to improve my speaking. I want to improve my reading or something like that. But it's not really specific. Here are some questions that can help you to figure out what you really need. First, as Dee said, a right teacher can keep me motivated. Then may I ask you, what is your motivation for learning? It is more for internal motivation or external motivation. There are some examples. For internal motivation, you may be interested in Chinese language itself, or interested in Chinese culture, history, or something like that. So more like your interest. Then the external motivation may be, I'm not so interested in China or Chinese, but I do need to survive in China, or I need to get promotion after passing the HSK test or something like that. So it will be more practical use. So which one is your motivation? You can type internal or external in the chat box. So if you don't mind, you can type your answer in the chat box. Then I'll check what type of the teacher will be your right teacher. And it's not only for Chinese learning, actually. So, so our teachers can also enjoy it. If you can imagine you as a learner, so which language you want to learn and what is your motivation? External. Okay, Dan said external. Can you give me any example? Okay, Della also said external. Then what language are you learning or are you going to learn? When you for working. Oh, okay, Emily also said like for working, so external, right? Polish and Spanish. And then may I know like what is your motivation of learning Spanish? These said internal. So you are interested in Chinese language, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Have you ever learned any Chinese before?
Yes, I have been learning for several years, but but still have not got to the level which I would like to get. Yes.
You want to reach a higher level, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Momo said Japanese. Okay. So, okay. I think like most of us want to learn some foreign language, right? Different languages. So you are an internal motivation, you have that. So which part are you interested in for Chinese?
Mostly for first of all, the reason I have a motivation because my daughter lives in Taiwan, and and she has two children, and they speak only Chinese, and I need to communicate.
Okay. Good. So it sounds like combination. Someone is like external first, right?
But
because I want to talk with my family.
Yes, but actually, after I started to learn Chinese, I discovered it's very interesting, very logical language. Very interesting here.
Okay. Yeah, they mentioned the logic. The logic about Chinese. Yeah, about Chinese language. Yes, so for you, see, you've already interested in Chinese language. We do not need to like try to catch your eye on learning Chinese, but I suggest a teacher like who know well about the pronunciation, grammar, culture, tradition, and like you said, the logic of behind the language. So it can help you to like know, oh, why this word is like that, and especially the character, right? Something like that for the internal needs. And as Emily said, like for working, so some external, right, for survival, right? So at that time, like I'm not so interested in the language. So the teacher need to make their class more engaging to attract you and to encourage you to keep it. Because if you don't feel it's interesting at the first place, right? And like, oh, okay, it's so boring. I need to force myself to take the lesson. And if the class is also boring, I think soon you will quit it, right? So maybe some of you have the same experience. For me, I tried Japanese for twice. First time is like that. It was so boring and also hard for me to memorize like different pronunciation. Then I quit soon. And then later I met my right teacher. So he really knows well about me, about my needs. Then I think, okay, now Japanese becomes more interesting. So your motivation may be changed by the teacher. Okay, so the second question, when you learn Chinese, you aim for what? It's general purpose or a special purpose. So for special purpose, it means like you apply your language into some specific fields. Like I want to read some Chinese novels, Asian Chinese, like history stories, or also like I want to learn some business Chinese to talk with my clients or something like that. Then which one is yours? You can also type it in the chat box. Then you want to learn Spanish, right? For what? Or just be able to communicate with locals. Many countries. So yeah, a lot of people speak Spanish, so can be useful. Okay. I want to talk with some of my relatives. Okay, they are Chinese. They speak Chinese, right? 小一起. 好的. So generally used, right? Just like for daily life. Okay. Yes. So if it's for daily use, so mostly your teacher should be familiar with most, especially popular fields and the daily things. You can share your daily life with them, and they can also help you to figure out like different daily issues, something like traveling, right? Like going shopping or something like that. But if you want to apply your language in a specific field, then your teacher will be knowledgeable to a certain field. Yeah. So like this, I use like philosophy, history, business, or something like that. But I think for most of the learners, the first step, you just just aim for the general purpose. But later, when you find it's interesting, it's amazing, maybe you will have higher purpose. Okay, so that's for the second question. And here, so language included different parts: reading, writing, listening, speaking, or comprehension. Then which one do you want to start with? Listening and speaking. Talk with native speakers, right? Then, okay, Shaichi also said listening or speaking. Same here. Okay. So most of the learners will just want to start with the speaking part, right? Okay, so speaking, yes, it means you will open your mouth a lot during your class. Not your teacher talks a lot, right? So your teacher will provide tons of speaking practice to you and always focus on your speaking quality, which means they will not just let you to use the words like you are used to. They will also give you a little bit stress, push you a little bit to use the new words, new structure to organize your words to improve your speaking quality. But if you focus on the comprehension or reading part, then also your teacher will focus on the reading first and help you to practice with the grammar thing. Yeah, and will correct your writing carefully. But both of them will give you tons of practice. So you may think like, I tried a lot, but not just to listen to my teacher speaking. As I said, your practice, your needs matter more than your teacher's experience. So a right teacher will give you more chances to practice what you want to improve. Then something you may ignore, but it's very important, is your time. When you decide to learn a new language, but how much time you can devote for it. So for now, you are as busy as me, or you have a lot of time to review, to practice, or other things. Have some time. So in between. Della said it's up to mood. Okay. So sometimes I feel busy, sometimes I'm free. Okay. Yeah, it's changeable, right? So no matter which one you are, so your teacher will know if you have enough time to review. If you do not have enough time, just like me, so my teacher will review a lot in the class instead of assigning a lot of homework. And also, they will not just push me to learn more new things during the class because I do not have a good review of what I learned. So they may focus more on what we learned and to make a good foundation to help me improve. But if you have a lot of time to review, then the after class practice can help you a lot, can help you improve faster. So the teacher will assign homework and will check your assignments carefully and give you some feedback. So you'll have more time to practice after class, and during the class, you can focus more on like challenging tasks and learn more new things. So it depends. If you do not have enough time, focus more on what you have learned. Do not be like, there is no rush. How and for this question, learning attitude. It means you just want to take a quick look of the language, or you want to try hard to improve intensively. Which one are you? Quick look means like, I do not really have an intensive goal, right? I do not need to pass a test to get promotion. So I'll just try the language. Dan says somewhere in between. Not too relaxing, not too hard. Okay. Okay, then it can be a combination. So if you just want to take a quick look, then the teacher will be more flexible to your learning progress. So you will not have a detailed learning plan. So sometimes, as you said, I'm not in a good mood for learning. Then, okay, we can have some relaxing topics to talk with, right? Just use what we learned to practice the daily topics. Have a small talk like that. So the key point is to keep interest of the students. But if you do really have an intensive goal and you want to reach it as soon as possible, then your teacher will also have a high standard for you. Sometimes you may feel, oh, this teacher is so strict, but not just strict. The key point is to help you face your pain point and help you overcome it. So they will focus on the quality of learning. Yeah, they will help you to check your progress regularly. That's the difference. But if in between, then maybe they will not check your progress very frequently, but maybe during a month or 2 months like that, but also check your goal, right? So to adjust their learning. And also you will feel pleasant during the class, not so much stress to improve. 好，那 this is the framework that can help you figure out what you really need when you start learning Chinese or any other foreign language. So these questions you'd better ask yourself before you really start learning a language. And when you meet a teacher, you can let them know your needs, and then you can set an appropriate learning plan together. 好, so these ones. Then when we figure out our needs, the second step is to take a trial class. As I mentioned, I tried different types of teachers and different apps or something. Then I can know, okay, I know how Japanese teachers teach Japanese, and I know what I like to learn and what works better on me. So there are some questions you should also ask yourself. What should I care about during the trial class? So first, the most important thing is listen to your gut. So do you feel enjoyable and comfortable in the class? This is very important. As I mentioned before, your needs and your feelings matter more. So you need to ask yourself this question, because a pleasant learning atmosphere would help you learn Chinese more effectively. So do not ignore your instinct. It's quite important. And then you can use your reason to think about your needs, just like the framework we just showed you. So you can check if the teacher cares about what you need and what you prefer, and check if he or she make any adjustment of the class to meet your needs. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you some example and help me to figure out which teacher is good for me, is the right teacher for me. So this student, actually it's me. I learned some Japanese years ago, but I forgot a lot. I can read some Chinese, sorry, wrong. I can read some Japanese, but not really confident in speaking. And I aim for communicating with native speakers when traveling. Okay, this is me when I want to review my Japanese. Then I met two teachers. This teacher didn't teach many new words during the trial lesson. The teacher helped me to recall the words I learned before. And the teacher helped me practice the words in the situational dialogue. So like the role play. And I also met another teacher. This teacher gave me a list of words and the phrases useful for traveling. And the teacher explained everything clearly and detailed. And we practiced the words and the phrases by talking about pictures. So you can type A or B in the chat box to tell me which teacher is the right teacher for me. Anybody can help me? I saw B. May I ask your reasons? Why do you think B are right teachers for? Oh, also someone said A. Okay, I'll ask one of you to tell me why it's A or B. So Xiaoiqi, can you tell me why do you think B, the teacher B, is right teacher for me? Yeah, no rush. You can type your reasons in the chat box. And also, Dan, I want to know your reason. Your reasons may also help me to decide which teacher is right for me.
Because teacher A help you practice in the situation, like in situational dialogues. I think that's very important for you to be able to be conversational.
Okay, thank you for your reasons. Yes, I want to be conversational, you're right. And Xiaoiqi, may I know your reasons why teacher B is my right teacher? Okay. Or any other answers. If you didn't type anything, you can also, I saw, because the teacher explained everything clearly, so it must be easy to remember. Okay, so I'll tell you how I feel. Okay, so for traveling enemies, and the pictures are more fun to practice. That'll give another reasons. Okay, yes, so teacher B realized, I want to travel, right? I want to go traveling. So they give me the list of the words and the phrases used for traveling. Yes. And Xiaoiqi said, explain everything clearly. This teacher must be very professional, right? Yes, my impression of this teacher is, wow, this guy is so experienced. Yeah, and he knows where about the language. But actually, for me, teacher A is my right teacher. The reason why I don't choose teacher B as my right teacher, just because I didn't get trained a lot during the lesson. So as I mentioned before, so I was a student. You can say I was a student, like I'm not confident in speaking, but I do want to speak, to communicate with native speakers. And I've learned something before, but I forgot a lot. So the teacher, if they just give me a list of the new words, phrases, they are useful, but they just give me something and okay, go, you learn itself. I'll tell you there are the examples, how do you use it, how you use the language, like situation. There are a lot of things. So Xiaoiqi said, they explain everything clearly, that it will be easy to remember, to memorize. But sorry, my brain is not so strong for that. So for me, it's not so easy to memorize them. But teacher A, the teacher didn't teach many new words because they just want to know what I have learned. And then they give me some small tasks to push me to use what I learned to organize my words. So just try yourself. Do what you can do now. Yes. So the practice, it was hard at the very beginning. Not really hard, but I was afraid of that. I don't want to open my mouth. But once I tried it, I found, oh, okay, I remember, I learned it. Okay, now I know how to use the sentence. Yes, at the very beginning, I was not fluent at all. But after practice with the words I learned, I was familiar with that. And we tried the situational dialogue. As Dan said, so it's a role play. It's not just the pictures, some imagination situation, but like the role play. He takes the role of the native speaker, I am a traveler. So we make different dialogue based on the situation, like going to the shop or something. So after that, I think like when I went to Japan, I can recall what a teacher practiced with me. And then I just try to repeat what I've trained for many times to talk with the native speakers. So I think teacher A, the teacher A is my right teacher. Okay, so this is my answer. And then, so as I said, I didn't get well trained on the class with teacher B. So the third question for you is, do you speak more than your teacher on your trial lesson? So in GoEast Chinese class, we always believe that it's essential for a teacher to let students open their mouth more than the teachers, even during the reading class. Because even you are reading something, you also need to discuss about the meaning of the paragraph or something, right? You need to express how you think, what you don't know, what you know to your teacher. So it's also a good try to like let the teacher know your weakness or your advantages in learning language. So there is the thing we always say. We said like in the class, the STT must be more than the TTT. So the student talking time must be longer than the teacher talking time, because students are the main body of the learning process, and the teacher is more like a coach or a guide. So a coach will not will not train their muscle instead of you, right? So sometimes also the right coach for you, they are trained very well. They know how to do every actions. But if I don't know, if I cannot train my body, this guy is very experienced, so what? So we suggest that the student talking time should be longer than the teacher talking time. If you can express yourself more, you would use the language more fluently. Yeah. Okay, so that is the step 2. So just try it and you will know if it's a right teacher for you. And there is the step 3. So I've tried it, I know it. Now I know my needs and I know how the teacher is. Then you need to express your needs to your teacher. The key point is keep communication, because it's the best way to adjust the class quickly. You know, everything is changeable and also your needs will change. So a right teacher will keep open-minded. They would know everything is in change. So it's quite normal that your needs will change, especially for who just started learning for the first time, because you're just thought, learning Chinese is like that. But once you tried it, after 1 week, 1 month, or something, you may change your mind. But it's okay. Just feel free to tell your teacher if you change your mind, and they will listen to you and help you make a good decision. Yeah, so keep communication is very important. And also, like having some lessons with your teacher. Do not forget to give feedback to your teacher. Express your feeling directly will also help your teacher adjust effectively. So I know like someone may feel sorry to give feedback because it seems like we are judging the teacher. But in fact, students' feedback will definitely help teachers to improve our teaching skills and will also help both of us have a better experience during our Chinese class. We know that we can divide the feedback into two types. One is the positive and the other is the negative feedback. So it would be much easier to give positive feedback, like expressing your thanks or likes to your teacher. But also as a teacher, not just thank you, you are so nice, or something like that. It's okay, it's good, it's welcome, but it's too vague. I would like to hear what my students like from my class, and I would feel motivated to keep it and make it better. So you'd better tell your teacher what is useful, you think, and what is practical, and what is fun. So take my class like as an example. So I think my Japanese teachers, the practice, right, based on the situation, it is quite useful for me because when I went to Japan, I can just use what they taught me to communicate with the native speakers. Yeah, and also it's very practical because I know how to use my learned words and some things to do that. And also the teacher is funny, so they can also add some interesting knowledge to help me. But these ones, you need to make it specific and detailed to tell your teacher. When it comes to the negative feedback, I bet many people would feel hard to give it. But for a teacher, sometimes they help us more than the positive ones because I can figure out what I ignored and then I can make it up. So I still remember my first student who denied to take lesson with me after just the first lesson. So later I knew it was because that he felt quite stressed after our pronunciation drills. He's already learned Chinese for some like few months. Yes, like at that level, it can be the intermediate level. But when he took the lesson with me, I just pushed him to correct his pronunciation with a single syllable. Yeah, so to be honest, I was frustrated at first, but I did feel grateful to know about it because I know, oh, okay, so for a student like that, it's not really a good practice. Even every student may say, I think pronunciation is very important. I want to impress Chinese people. But once your teacher just push you to repeat and do it again, it's wrong and do it, they do not really feel happy. Yeah, so later I know the feedback is not very good for them because I didn't tell the student how to really like pronounce the syllables in the correct way. I just asked him to repeat for several times. Yes, so now I'll try to figure it out, like why they are not used to pronunciation of the Chinese things. So most of the students, they are just not used to using the muscles in their mouth because it's not their mother tongue, right? When we start to speak a new language, you need to use the muscles, new muscles that you never trained since you were born, right? So you need to be patient. Yeah, as a teacher, before said, like patience is very important for a right teacher. Yes, that's it. So no rush and no push for your student. Yes. So so you need to let your teachers know that you don't feel comfortable with something that they do. But if you still feel hard or sorry to give negative feedback, here are some tips. So you need to tell your feelings directly and give objective facts to help your teacher know like help them understand you why you don't feel well or something like that. So the first, how did you feel? And then what made you feel that? The objective facts. And also you can tell them what you would like to see or hear during your class. Just make it clearly. And there are also other advice for you. If you don't want to make your teacher feel bad. So before giving any negative feedback, you can start by expressing gratitude for your teacher's hard work and dedication. You can let them know that you value their efforts and that your feedback is meant to help them improve even further. It's not like blame or judge or something like that. And if you don't want to say that in person, you can also ask others for help. So if you took a class like from the school or something, I think it will be the same as in GoEast. Every student has their language consultant, and they would also help transfer your feedback to your teacher to help improve the class. So no sorry. Don't feel sorry to give negative feedback. Just tell them, like, how did you feel and what made you feel that? It's very important to help your teachers. Yeah. Okay. So the last step, just to keep evaluating your class. So like the same, you figure out your needs and then you take a trial lesson. Then you express your needs and you give feedback directly to your teachers. Then even you don't take a trial lesson, it can be used during your whole learning journey. So always be sensitive to your own needs. If it changed, just tell your teachers. So express it clearly and also give your feedback directly. You can give your feedback maybe like monthly or quarterly. The yearly, I think it's a long time, so not suggested. Yeah, so 1 month, it will be a good time for you to give your feedback to your teacher. Tell them you feel so proud of your progress and tell them like you want to improve more in a certain part or something like that. Okay, so that's all for the way how you can choose a right teacher and why you need to choose a right teacher. Do you have any question about that? So if you had any teacher, you have learned language with a certain teacher. If you do not agree with me, do you have any other things you want to share with us? Nothing? Okay, thank you, Dan. Okay, so if you do not have any question, then I'll ask Dan to take the part. Okay, so Dan, it's your time.
谢谢 Clytie. Thank you, Clytie, for sharing very, very important ideas for us. And let's give Clytie applause. Thank you. Okay, and today I want to thank all of you guys for coming to join us tonight. And we will have our next event on next Thursday. We have our weekly online workshop. And the next Thursday, it will be on the May 25th. And next one is going to be, we're going to talk about fun Chinese internet slangs. And as you can see in this poster, there are numbers and characters. And next time we will figure out how these numbers and characters mean. Mean what, like in Chinese culture on the internet. So you guys can join us and by clicking the link in the chat box, and you can join us next time at the same time on Thursday. Okay, so we will see you next time, and thank you guys for coming. Have a good day and a good night and a good morning. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
谢
you.
谢你
Thank you.
们。